It is 3 in the morning. You are awake. You do not know why. The room is dark. Not completely dark, there's the faint glow of something electronic, the thin line of light under the door. But dark enough. And in that darkness, something in you is paying attention in a way it was not paying attention an hour ago. Your hearing feels sharper. A sound from somewhere in the house makes you still. Your body has done something your conscious mind did not ask it to do. It has shifted into a state of quiet, calibrated alertness. Ready. For what exactly you cannot say. This is not anxiety. This is not a symptom. This is the oldest thing about you. Human beings have been afraid of the dark for so long that the fear is no longer learned. It is inherited. It is written into the architecture of your nervous system by millions of years of nights that were genuinely, lethally dangerous. The darkness you lie in tonight is the same darkness your ancestors lay in on the floor of a cave or in the grass of a savanna, listening to sounds they could not see the source of. And the part of your brain that kept them alive is the part that woke you up. The question is not why you are afraid of the dark. The question is how anything so ancient survived long enough to still be running inside you right now. Think about what darkness actually meant for the first 2 million years of human existence. There was no light switch. There was no street light bleeding through the curtains. When the sun went down, the world became a place your eyes could not navigate and your predators could. The creatures that hunted human ancestors were not afraid of the dark. They were built for it. Leopards, lions, hyenas, all of them more capable in low light than any human, all of them most active in the hours between dusk and dawn. Darkness was not an inconvenience for your ancestors. It was the window of time during which they were most likely to be killed. Neuroscientist David Eagleman has written about the way the human brain handles threat detection, the hair-trigger sensitivity of the systems designed to identify danger in ambiguous or incomplete information. In the dark, your brain receives incomplete information. It cannot verify what it is hearing. It cannot confirm what moved at the edge of your vision. And so it defaults to the oldest, most reliable strategy it has ever developed. Assume the worst. Treat every unidentified sound as a threat. Treat every shadow as something that could be moving toward you. The cost of being wrong in one direction, assuming danger when there is none, is a night of lost sleep. The cost of being wrong in the other direction, assuming safety when there is none, is death. Your brain ran that calculation millions of years ago. It chose fear, and it has never uncalculated it. Psychologist Arne Ohman at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden spent decades studying the psychology of fear and its evolutionary origins. His research demonstrated that human beings are not equally afraid of everything. We have what he called prepared fears, specific categories of threat that the brain learns to fear faster, reacts to more intensely, and extinguishes more slowly than other fears. Snakes, spiders, heights, angry faces, and darkness. These are not random. Every single one of them was a genuine, recurring source of mortal danger throughout human evolutionary history. The brain did not need to learn to fear them from scratch in each generation. It arrived preloaded with a sensitivity to them, a hair trigger already set. This is why a child who has never encountered a dangerous animal will still flinch at a snake. This is why darkness feels different from other kinds of not seeing. It is not simply an absence of visual information. It is a signal your nervous system recognizes at a level far below conscious thought. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, the structure that processes fear before your conscious mind has had time to form a thought about it, is activated by darkness independently of any specific threat. The dark itself is the threat. The category is the danger. Think about what that means for the experience you're having at 3 in the morning. You are not afraid of something in the dark. You are afraid of the dark the way your nervous system is afraid of a snake. Not because you have identified a specific danger, but because the category has triggered a response that was designed to keep you alive before you were conscious enough to understand why. And here is where it becomes personal, because the fear of darkness is not the same for everyone. Research by developmental psychologists has found that children typically develop a fear of the dark between the ages of 2 and 4, precisely the period when the brain's threat detection systems are coming fully online, and precisely the period when the child is becoming mobile enough to encounter the world independently, but not yet experienced enough to assess which parts of it are safe. The fear appears on schedule, not because something frightening happened in the dark, because the brain is following its ancient programming. It is installing the fear the way it installs the ability to walk. On a timeline, from the inside, most adults report that their fear of the dark diminished as they grew older. This is true, but diminished is not the same as disappeared. Sleep researchers have documented what happens to human physiology in darkness. The way cortisol levels shift, the way the startle response is heightened, the way the brain continues to process auditory information during sleep with a sensitivity calibrated specifically to the sounds that would have mattered most in a dangerous environment. Unfamiliar sounds, irregular sounds, sounds that do not fit the expected pattern of a safe location. Your sleeping brain is not resting. It is standing watch. Anthropologist and sleep researcher Jerome Siegel at UCLA has studied the sleep patterns of modern hunter-gatherer societies, the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of the Kalahari, groups whose lives are structured more similarly to those of our ancestors than to the world most of us inhabit. What he found was striking. These groups do not sleep in the continuous 8-hour blocks that modern sleep science treats as optimal. They sleep in shorter, more fragmented periods. They wake during the night, often at the same times, the hours of deepest darkness, the hours when predator activity would have historically been highest. The waking is not random. It is structured. It is ancient. And it persists in people who actually need it, whose darkness is genuinely dangerous, whose fear of the night is not a psychological remnant, but a rational, ongoing response to a real environment, which suggests something about your 3 in the morning. You're not broken. You're not suffering from a sleep disorder. You are waking up at the time your ancestors woke up, in the hour when the ancient world was most dangerous. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is just doing it in a bedroom in a city where the threats that designed it no longer exist. But your nervous system does not know that. Your amygdala has no mechanism for checking the date. It does not know that the thing outside your window is a car and not a predator. It does not know that the sound in the hall is the house settling and not something approaching. It knows only that it is dark. That dark has always meant danger, and that the correct response to danger is alertness. There is something almost beautiful in that, if you can hold it at arm's length for a moment. Every night, in beds and rooms and apartments all over the world, millions of people lie awake in the dark listening to nothing, afraid of nothing they can name, kept company by a fear so old it predates language. A fear that was calibrated by creatures who never slept in safety, who lay on the ground under open sky and listened, exactly as you are listening to the sounds of the dark, and who survived because they kept listening, because they did not dismiss the feeling, because they trusted the ancient thing in their chest that said, "Not yet, not yet, not yet." The world got safer. The lights came on. Cities grew up around the darkness and pushed it back to the edges. And still, at 3 in the morning, something in you wakes up and listens. That is not fear. That is memory. The oldest kind. The kind that does not live in your mind. The kind that lives in your body. In the tightening of attention. In the stillness. In the way you lie there in the dark, ears open, heart just slightly faster than it was an hour ago, doing the thing your species has always done when the sun goes down and the world goes quiet. You are listening for what your ancestors heard. You have always been listening. You will be listening tonight.